It is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and I have a design team project for a Color Rush Studio, and I am in love with these July kits. They are just absolutely stunning. So, I am also playing along with Off the Board, and on Thursdays, our plan is twofer. So, the goal is to use 2 pins. So we can use more pins this month. So I have a couple of pins over to the left-hand side. The first one is like a gallery wall kind of. And so there's a couple things I'm taking from this. Definitely the colors, kind of that turquoisey, minty color, and some of the browns. And then I'm taking the idea of like framing it. So I started with this beautiful paper and I decided to cut the center map out, which I could have totally used like a map of anything as a pen. Any of my travel boards that have maps in them, could have used that as inspiration because I have this map paper, but I'm going to cover most of it up. So I'm not really sure that would have been the best choice. So here I am. So I've cut the center out, which is the map part. And then I'm going to frame it with just some black cardstock from my stash. And I am going to rough up all of the edges of both the map insert as well as the black frame there. So kind of just a little fun, even though the paper is perfect just as it is. This just adds just the tiniest little bit of dimension. And so it's really going to make that paper pop. So I've got that down, and then I have 2 photos. These are photos from Boston. This was when we were doing the Freedom Trail. I just really like this this building. I think it's a restaurant. I'm assuming they're like apartments above it. But the patina on like the little alcove areas coming out of the building is just absolutely stunning. And it's kind of the same color that's in the pin, which is the same color as the map. So it was all kind of going together. And then I also had the smaller picture, this one here that I'm cutting down, is of a church, and it's Sacred Heart, and that is the church that we go to here in town. So I thought it was kind of fun that, we were kind of by our home church, but, in a different state. So there's a picture of my daughter actually crossing the street and my husband on the crosswalk. That might be my son, actually. So they're in the picture and it looks like they're the only ones on the street. So I thought, well, that's kind of fun. So now from this piece of paper, I am going to just cut off this like stacked, like postcards and papers. It's just like stacked papers, right? And so I was like, okay, so I'm going to stack up a few things here, kind of like they have stacked up in that gallery wall. So I grab a branding strip and then this piece that I fussy cut, and I don't want it taller than the map paper. So I'm actually going to put it down. Like I'm going to cut a slit under that ticket and I'll stick it in there. So this is where the second pin comes. So in that dress, which I was looking for a dress like that recently, and so that's why it's on my Pinterest board. But it's lace. So I decided to grab the lace from the kit, and I'm going to layer that up. And so the lace is layered with the layers of the paper, and you can kind of see in the skirt, it kind of layers up as well. So yeah, I love how that looks. So I'm kind of trying to scrunch it a little bit so it's not completely flat, so you get that flowy look of kind of the skirt. This is where my brain is. So I hope I am making sense and explaining kind of like my thought process of how I am pulling these pins together and making this layout, because there's nothing scrappy about either of these pins. So the smaller picture fit really good on the piece of ephemera that is a banner tag. So I went ahead and put that in the center of that. I did back my photo with some black cardstock just to kind of bring that black forward. I am going to add some frazzle into my tag hole, and I am doing the blue and brown plaid, and I'm actually going to tie that versus just having them stick up. So if you tie them, they go horizontal, and if you just put them up and staple it or something, then you'll get a vertical look. So I've got that down. I've got my photos both glued down, and I decided to use one of the acrylic pieces for my title. It says, "Wherever you go, go with all your heart," which I thought was fun because the church is Sacred Heart. So yeah, so that's going to be my title. I went ahead and put that up at the top, and then I'm just going to do a little bit of embellishing. So I added a journaling spot down below. I'm also adding a couple of postage stamps just to that tag up there, and a chipboard piece that says "Collecting Moments." And then this piece says "Miles to Go," which when you're on the Freedom Trail, you're walking miles. So I thought that was fun. And so we're on a cobblestone street that you can see there. So I went ahead and put the kind of old-fashioned car, and then added a little arrow die cut. I think I'll probably stamp maybe the date on there. I'm not quite sure. And then I decided to add a key, one of the metal keys and one of the metal like gears. And that is going to do it. So here are a couple of close-ups. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I love to chat with you. I will have the playlist for Off the Board, and I will have all the information for Colorist Studio, so you can get your hands on these kits, and you can use my code 10Crystal, and that will save you 10%. Remember to wear your crown. Bye.